Alright, hello and welcome back. My last video, the audio just didn't pop up, so I went to a waste. Still uploaded it though, because I had like 5 other tries before that. So, yeah. So we're returning from what I remember, or I actually don't remember, but we're going to Africa. So first off, Algeria and Libya, both do a joint operation to invade Tunisia, which pretty much goes very smoothly, as Tunisia's army isn't really that powerful, from what I know. But America does come over to support Tunisia and all the other African countries, as they will soon be invaded too. Spoilers alert. Easily wiping out the country in a matter of likely like a couple weeks. Tunisia, at his last little coast, surrenders. They probably would have surrendered like all the way over here, but I don't know why. Now we have to partition it between the two really strong people. Today my brother has his friend over, so they might just barge in. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. So Tunisia being partitioned is a less power for, well, America and the blue team in Africa. Well, the African blue team really isn't much. Well, it isn't much at all. Just all these coasts. Like the only couple that actually have a decent military are Morocco, so South Africa, like Madagascar has a decent one, and maybe this. I forgot the name of this. There's so many random countries in Africa. I don't even know the name. Saint Brunei. I don't know. Alright, well, mainly after that, a decent amount of countries. So, like, Libya, Egypt, Sudan. Don't mind what happened to South Sudan. They just, I don't know. Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Iran launch a joint operation to destroy Saudi Arabia. Got a little lost there, forgot the name. Which immediately goes well, as Saudi Arabian army ain't as strong as Egypt, and especially ain't as strong as Egypt with allies. So, yeah, it's going pretty smooth sailing for them. They're destroying many fronts. They haven't got through here yet, as Saudi Arabia usually has this bordered off. And Iraq Iraqi armies. Gotta redo that, messed up the border a bit. Iraq-Iran armies start entering the, what is this? The southern, are entering the south, no, that ain't south, hold on. The east coast of Saudi Arabia. Quite literally, well, taking a lot of the coast. They have pretty much captured all the southern coast. Just gotta push through Qatar here. Saudi Arabian army, on the other hand, do not let this happen, as they're very fortified over here, as this is their last eastern coast. They still have a shit ton of coast over here, but not enough on here. many hours later. They've made a couple more advancements. Overall, though, the advancements have especially slowed down, especially on this front. This front still has some quite really movement until they meet up with the Eastern Front. And that becomes one huge Southern Front. Or North. I'm pretty sure it's South. Yeah, it's South. Which Saudi Arabia is really just going up for sale, as they are not really putting up much of a fight, and on the other hand, they have almost half their country taken over. And then Iran decides to probably best choice invade Kuwait. Or not best choice. Invading Kuwait to get an actual border on them, as they do not border Saudi Arabia and everything. They quite easily annex it, as the Kuwait military is. Well, I don't know what the Kuwait military is. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Yesterday I said. Actually, never mind. I couldn't even hear the audio. So, yeah. This one probably will have the audio because I have some help in editing it. Man, in my last video, I was listening to the audio. Man, I sounded like a little kid. Crazy. And yeah, the audio was pretty bad. So this one is probably gonna be really bad too. Just letting you know. Sorry to say it, but yeah. Alright, so once Saudi Arabia has like 75% of the country destroyed, they go ahead and surrender, not knowing anything else to do. Now, Iran goes ahead and decides to unite with Iraq, which they like to call forming Persia. Persia, or looks more like the Simu Seljuk Empire, not Seljuk. Actually, no, Seljuk Empire. Yeah. So they start their petition by wanting basically all of the eastern coast and some extra bordering parts of others, which is granted, of course, as Iran is now one of the big superpowers one of the big superpowers in the Middle East. Well, besides for Egypt. Egypt is gonna clobber anybody here, besides Turkey. Yeah, besides Turkey, that's it. So Iran takes that over. Jordan doesn't get much, as their army didn't do much. Well, they still do, like, double their size. Double down. Being a little generous here, as I do not think that Jordan would get too much land. And Egypt, actually, we're gonna need to redo these borders. You know me? Alright. So, Egypt first. Egypt goes ahead and... Actually, Egypt does not have really much land I can actually work with. Alright, well, Egypt is gonna take a long little slither of this. And Egypt manages to convince Jordan to join the Egypt. Which, yeah. Man, this is really not a realistic World War III. I mean, on Allies, pretty realistic. Middle Eastern War, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, now we have a nice little, really red Middle East, but Turkey, the strongest in the Middle East, 11th strongest military in total, is now invaded by everybody. And everybody against the Turkish military, everybody's gonna win. We have 14th. We have, I don't know, but they have a strong military. We have Saudi Arabia, which has lost land, but still has a military, I guess, but we're on our team. Iraq, which I don't know. Iraq has a military because no. Syria. Yeah, Syria. And Syria has I don't know, like a military, I guess. And all that combined really isn't gonna go good for Turkey. Especially since Russia is now finally doing something, invading Georgia again. Which they're going to win, as the Georgian military isn't that good. Taking quite a large margin out, destroying quite the large parts, and eventually fully annexing, Georgia. With this fully annexed Georgia, that ain't that good, as now they border good old Turkey, and their allies are invading Turkey, so why don't they? Like the old days of invading the Ottoman Empire, or Ottoman Empire invading them, both ways, just trying to defeat Muslims from Europe. Well, a lot of this goes ahead and shows, yeah, the thing is, Russia still, I'd say at this point, really close to USA in military terms. USA's just helping them out. Russia's really grown. And Russia and Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Middle Eastern Pact, I guess, will do a joint operation and push down, capturing all this. Armenia goes ahead and joins the war in hopes of gaining some more land, which they do help a bit with their little army. But Azerbaijan sees this and invades, which Russia immediately just slaps their army in there, captures this, got rid of that border right there. Now it's up to time, and boom. With that, I was gonna just do little things, come down. And yeah, with Russian support, Russia actually does make a little move, invading with Armenia, or defending Armenia, by invading Azerbaijan. Don't mind if I say it completely wrong. Azerbaijan, I think that's how you call it. Which really ain't going good, as Azerbaijan's military is not that good. Alright. Now, Russia, being a nicey boy, well, they're not much of a nicey boy right now, but they don't take much land. And, yes, they don't take much land. Armenia, though, gets the rest of Azerbaijan, effectively, maybe tripling their size? Oh, no, Armenia's kind of small, so they'd probably, triple, maybe even more. Because, 2 Armenians can probably fit in this little pocket right here. I don't know, but yeah. And Turkey, losing all these troops over here, now Russia and the Middle Eastern Pact threatens Turkey's existence. Pushing more down, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah. Pushing here, and Iraq immediately seizes this little pocket to hopefully gain it, which they do. Just gonna already get that. They add it to their land, and boom, Iraq has gained quite the large margin of the land. I don't like how that's completely straight. That's just me, though. They keep on their pushing, and oh my god, sorry, I wasn't looking. Keep on pushing through Turkish lands. Eventually, the resistance does die down after it gets more resisty. Yeah, resisty. And does kind of die down. And with this, all the Middle Eastern army goes full blast at the weakened army. Not ready. And eventually, Turkey is forced to surrender completely. Now with this, Turkey is, never mind, they're not giving me a puppet state. So, Iran share. Iran takes a nice little chunk from here, not too much. But, yeah. Russia, being the one that really just saved Armenia from Azerbaijan, does gain a little nice portion. Syria gains nice little threshold of Turkey. Nice. And that should be it. Albania obviously annexing, you know, right? That now all of the Middle East besides these, which I'm pretty sure one of them's that one's Russian. That one's a Russian supporter. Actually, all of these go ahead and switch to Russia as they do not have much of an army, and they're kind of scared. Qatar does that too, because they do not want to be invaded and completely destroyed. Now, next up, we are back to Europe. Germany does what Germany does best by invading Russia and failing against Russia, but this time they're going to go even further. Or when they captured all of the, Ukraine, Belarus, Baltics, everything. But the next time they almost got to Moscow, which they did, but they lost, and they captured tons. I wonder what they're going to do this time, which will be failure. With, tons of the Asian countries, now sending their military over there. South Korea being really convinced by Japan and America, decide to invade North Korea, which the war goes on. Doesn't really make a move. In fact, North Koreans actually push them back because the border, if you don't realize it, the border is the most militarized border in the world, and North Korea didn't really send much troops. So North Korea, with the most militarized border, already said it, just kind of pushes South Korea back, and then it's a stalemate until Japan launches a little sneaky. But by the time they launch this, tons of Chinese soldiers rush back to support North Korea. Which immediately after that, North Korea and Chinese naval fleets start battling with Japan. I'll make it a little skeptical. This is their fleets, and this is their fleets. Japan is winning with lots of Americans, but Chinese is still doing little pushbacks, little mixes, tons of mixes, till eventually they are kind of just forced into a little stalemate, which is normal. And Japan is eventually kicked out of North Korea with a blow, and South Korea now being forced to endure tons of Japan troops going through it. That sounds Japanese troops going in it, but that sounds wrong. But that sounds really wrong. Let me rephrase that. South Korea now with tons of Japanese army support. Okay, that sounds better. But really just does a little nice pushback from the Korean regime. And then eventually it is forced into stalemate, and later that day they decide to make peace, following the borders that are exact, which really was kind of, well, USA wanted to give all the land back, even adding land to Korea, but they just got nice little portions. North Korea gaining a lot more land, getting nice. Now North Korea is even closer to becoming the Korea. Balling. They're so forward. But next up on our list, good old India. See, Pakistan, China, and Thailand, or Madagascar, not Madagascar, Myanmar, has been planning a little attack on the Indian army. Planning their little invasion. Russia decides to stay neutral in this, but Pakistan decides to go back to their little we own Kashmir by invading the Indian province. So when the Indian military do arrive, though, the Pakistan are immediately driven back to the borders, while the Chinese military come up right in Kashmir and start their invasion. Completely lining the border and expanding, they do start in hopes of encircling this little Kashmir province, which they get very, very close. The Indian army just launched a couple little almost circling, which forces the Chinese army to get pushed back. But that does not stop their advancements over here, as they do meet up with the Pakistani border, and boom, they have captured Kashmir, and they do not plan to stop. The Indian army, now being supported by America, but Russia tries to end the war by actually tries ending the war as their allies with India and China. But the thing is, they don't know who to join because they're both their allies, so they just try to get the war to stop. And eventually, it does, with Russia or Putin managing to convince Pakistan and China just to take little that. And India kind of mad at Russia since they didn't send their military full force into Pakistan and China, or just China, is a little mad. But Putin says, hey, we stopped the war, you've been taken over. Which that is true. China goes ahead and gives all the land to Pakistan. Okay, that rhymed. And India, still very mad, starts strengthening up their military. Except they actually decide to go back to neutral, but are still strengthening their military up by like hell. Now, in South America, nothing happens really, because I'm pretty sure that Venezuela would not do that. Would not even bother invading. They just stay neutral. But Russia does manage to convince Brazil, hey, you're at the BRICS, man. You should be with us. And yes, Brazil does. Now, I just realized I've been recording for 24 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off for part 2. There will be another part. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.